Hello everyone, welcome back to another Firestorm Gazala. This will be my last Firestorm Gazala for this online campaign. Really enjoyed it. Thanks to the guys at Breakthrough Assault and No Dice and No Glory for putting this up for us. All of us something to do together as a global community and help promote the game. Hopefully to get more players, buying models and getting out onto the field when we can, when where it's safer to do so. For today's game, there's a bit of a change to the billing. Tom is unavailable to play this game, so I am taking up the mantle of the Axis this time. So I feel I've batted for both teams, unfortunately, in this campaign, and a bit of an easier game for Lucas, shall we say, since I haven't played Axis mid-war for quite some time. So it should be interesting. And I finally get to use something I haven't got to do on this channel. I have used Italians before, but not to this extent, at least for a long time anyway. So, my only formation is a Bersaglieri rifle company. So these are slowly starting to make a bigger appearance in my battle reports of late. I have my HQ of 2 teams, and then I have 2 full platoons of 9 bases. Also in this formation are 3 81mm mortars. Of course, you remember they were MVP last game, so hopefully they'll do a shift for me today. 3 heavy machine guns, in case there's any Roman British infantry around, and 4 47mm guns. So with a heat, any light tanks or UCs roaming around gonna be pay a terrible price from these guns. Furthermore, in support, I have 4 of the M14-41 Italian light tanks. So again, like the 47mm guns, they're going to be roaming around doing their thing. Some 100mm howitzers, so some very good artillery for the Italians here. I also have a AB-41 observation scout car, as well as 3 AB-41 scout troop, and I also have 3 flak 88s, so anything heavier turning up, but these are going to get rid of them, and also any aircraft. I also have an allied support in the form of 4 up-armoured Panzer IIIs. So for command cards, you might be able to just about capture them in front of you here. I've got the Paolo Cassia Dominioni card again. Today's mission is Breakthrough, so not normally a night attack mission, but Lucas does have minefields because of the campaign, because this is game 2. This is kind of an assault on Tobruk, but because Tobruk has already been relieved, the defences are rather diminished, as British High Command did not want to hold Tobruk if it came vulnerable again, but then Churchill changed his mind, so they wanted to hold it. So they had very few minefields and barbed wire, so it was quite open. And I've also taken the Bersaglieri bombs, which are basically Italian sticky bombs, because their infantry is quite susceptible to tanks. So Firestorm Campaign is normal, so let's see what we've got. We have Rommel is coming over to help us, so he will increase the command range of formation commanders. Normally Italian list won't be able to take us, but he is courtesy of this campaign, thankfully. And 2 stukas, so hopefully when dawn does arrive, because I will be launching a night attack to protect and preserve my infantry, hopefully when the dawn does come up, these guys will come in and do some good work for me. Hopefully 2 good turns like they did for Jimmy quite early on in this campaign. So this is my attacking Italian list, so let's have a look at what Lucas is defending with. Okay, now we have Lucas's defending list. We have a Grant armoured squadron, so we have a HQ of 3 Grants, 2 troops of 3 Grants, and then 3 Crusader 2s. Seems that every game we play in this, as we progress to it, we seem to be getting more and more Grants every time, but it's no surprise there. They are pretty good tanks. We also then have a South African rifle company, so we have the HQ of 2 teams, then we have 2 full platoons. and with them are 4 Vickers heavy machine guns and 4 6-pounders, and we also have 2 troops of universal carriers with them. In support for this army we have 2 Kitty Hawks. For command cards we have diversionary tactics, so that's to stop my early artillery templates ranged in from having any good effects, so he gets to move one of them, as you saw what I did last game. And of course the South African Rifle Company, which gives him an extra 2 points, so no doubt that's where those pesky little UCs have come from. In support, let me get my notes. So the Firestorm units, we have 4 25-pounders, and they're courtesy of the 1st Artillery Regiment of the 2nd South Africa Division. We also have 3 grants. I know more grants again, there's plenty of good armour for the British this game. And these are from the 2nd Armoured Brigade of the 1st Division. So that is Lucas's list. Plenty of armour for me to deal with, but hopefully the cover of night will help me out a lot better than it did with Jimmy anyway. So let's have a look at the board before we deploy. Okay, so again here's today's map, again using the axis of attack random terrain deployment. Again, a few areas of loose sand. They actually look so much better on the camera than they do in real life. They're a bit lighter in real life. We got a well. We got a little village here, some roads, scrub, and rocky terrain. Lucas gets to pick his corners that he's going to defend. They're 2 opposite ends, and then I pick a corner to attack from. So let's see where we go for. This is British deployment in this little sector by here. We have the UCs behind the wall for cover, 6-pounders. The Vickers heavy machine guns are in and on the building. We have an infantry platoon with a HQ here, and in the opposite sector again we have the other UCs, the infantry and the 25-pounders. Grants, Firestorm Grants are in ambush. This is where I put my objectives. So as I roll on, I should be able to secure 1 if there's no infantry there, and there's barbed wire and minefields here. My deployment is quite cramped, got quite a lot going on here. The only elite units I had were the Flak 88s, the scout cars, the HQ, and that was it. No other elite units for me, but not too bad for me. That is it for my deployment. So Lucas is probably going to start by removing this ranged in marker, because that's going to be a bit of a nuisance there. So here we go now into turn 1 for the axis. Okay, so it feels like the bubble has burst and the balloon filled with Italians has ruptured out onto the desert in the night. So the 1st platoon and the HQ are moving up towards the UCs. 47mm guns are going with them. So that's all I can move out of my deployment zone in that sector. The HMGs and 2nd platoon have moved over to the left, and the scout cars have moved to the edge of my deployment because I can't move out yet. So that is my movement. Hopefully night will provide me with ample cover, and hopefully some of my anti-tank guns might be able to see something this round. But here we go into shooting. Wish me luck. Hopefully some templates can find their mark. Okay, summarising my round. I rolled quite a few dice, and the highest I rolled was a 5, so this is going good. I haven't used the Italian dice before. I tried ranging in over here. It was going to be a 5 because of night, but I'm ranging in over flat terrain, so it didn't affect it. With the howitzers and the mortars, and I didn't range in once. Could have done with being one of them skilled. I wanted to see how far my 47mm guns could see. They could only see 8 inches, so not enough to get the UCs. These guys could see the universal carriers, but with them needing 8s to hit, I didn't. The Flak 88s could see the 6-pounders, and I felt like I might as well try rolling to hit something. And I don't think a combined total of my dice reached 8 anyway. So that's how it lies. And now we're going into British turn 1. And the only thing Lucas needs to do this turn is to roll to see if any reinforcements come in.
Yep. Yes, 5.
Right, so this is going great so far. So reinforcements are coming in, and we are British movement. Lucas also popped his ambush as well. His Firestorm Grants, they popped up by here on the road, 16 inches away from my infantry, and then they've driven further forward. These guys have driven from behind a rock, and the UCs are also going to add some MG fire onto my poor infantry over by here, and the MGs. Okay, rest of what happened, this platoon here is moving towards the back objective. They did a follow me but failed. This platoon here did the same but passed their follow me, and the HQ did the same but failed to follow me. So that's it for British movement, but again they're going to have to roll to see how far they can see everything, so hopefully not very far, otherwise I could be losing some stuff quite early on. So let's see how they do. Okay, so far this has gone quite grim for me. 2 of my 47mm AT guns have been dropped by the UCs. So because they are a infantry team, they will need to start taking last stands, but the HQ is next to them. My howitzers and mortars have been pinned down, and I lost 2 of my HMG teams, so they're going to be last standing as well. Luckily though, my formation command leadership is 8 inches thanks to Rommel, so I will be getting re-rolls on this bunch here. So first of all, to unpin my howitzers, I get a 1 and a 2, so they're not unpinning. The mortars, double 6, these are the first 6s I've rolled on these dice, so they're unpinned. So that's all the pinning done. So the last stand on my 47mm guns, 4 and a 2, that is enough for them to, they'll be okay. So they're not running away. And the last stand, which is just going to be 1 dice on these guys, and I get a 1. So they are going. So, yes, so that is me going into turn 2. So for my movement, the infantry are still pushing up in the, on my right. The AT guns have stayed still, and 2 of the gun tank teams have moved here to get better shots on the UCs. This team has successfully dug in, because I don't want to risk them going any further forward with the amount of grants that are in front of them. So that is it for movement. And now I'm going to go into shooting. Hopefully I can see a bit further. Luckily some units have illuminated themselves now, so that'll be slightly easier for me now. So Axis shooting, or should I say Italian shooting, turn 2. So far I've managed to kill 1 UC and bail another, so that's quite good because that opens up my assault on the 6-pounders a little bit easier. I also managed to bail 1 of the grants with my 88s, and I managed to wipe out 2 rifle teams from this platoon here. Thankfully the mortars ranged in first time, so they're making up for lost time, thankfully. So that concludes my shooting, and I think it'd be rude not to launch an assault onto this lone 6-pounder and hopefully dislodge them a little bit, and that'll be good because I have to assault this one because I haven't got range for there. The Vickers are out, and so is this one, so that's quite good for me. So, well, watch us backfire now anyway, so we'll see what happens. So my Italians did absolutely excellent in this assault. I moved in, I assaulted the 6-pounder by this side of the wall. I did lose 1 guy to defensive fire. I killed him. Lucas then stuck around, couldn't move because they're heavy weapons. I then counterattacked, so I was able to roll the 2 guys here onto the 6-pounder that was there. He died, and then he failed his counter, and because they only had a 2-inch movement, they couldn't get outside of 6 inches, so they got destroyed. Those 2 heroes are now in this building, quite enjoying themselves after what they did, and the other guys have consolidated a little bit further away from the Vickers heavy machine guns. So now we go into turn 2 for the British, and they do have some motivations to do finally. So first of all, should we try and rally this Oh no, it's bailed out first, so you have a Grant that's bailed out.
He fails to get back in.
You have got your formation commander right behind you.
Oh yeah. In which case it's fine.
Okay, so he's back in, and your universal carrier has to remount as well.
He fails.
Okay, so they will be last standing. I will lean over to get rid of this. And you have a pinned down infantry platoon.
Fine.
Okay, so first of all, your last stand on your universal carriers.
Oh, roll on.
So this guy drives away, and just before they drive away, these guys chuck some grenades into this one here, and they jump into here, and they go, we've had enough, and we're going to Tobruk and having a beer. Okay, and that's done. And the last thing to do in the startup step is to see how many more tanks turn up for Lucas.
Yeah. One more platoon.
Nice. So seems a lot of heavy armour coming for my Italians here at the moment. So we're going into British, turn 2. Okay, movement wise, more reserve grants have turned up here. They're staring down towards the British at this point. Not the British, the Italians. Again, all the 2 platoons are now sat on the objectives. This one thanks to a follow me, and the formation commander's in the middle in command range of both of them. HQ grants are also coming over to the objective to hold it, and this lot over here stayed put. So, more shooting again coming with a horrid repeat bombardment from the 25 pounders. So, British shooting, turn 2. Okay, so the Vickers heavy machine guns mowed down 2 of the teams. These grants can't see anything, they're blind. And over here, again, the 100mm howitzers got pinned, and the mortars have lost a guy, so they're last standing. So luckily I did put the HQ, who he's not gone to ground, the 88s have gone to ground, so he is with them. The Grants fired at the 88s, did get a hit, but luckily I passed the save, and the UCs didn't get any hits on the infantry because they are gone to ground now. So that is it. So going into my motivation step, let's see if I can unpin the mortars on 2 dice. A 6, lovely. The howitzers, a 4 and a 3, better this time. And now I'm coming on to the last stands again. So the 47mm guns, 2 dice. I get a 3 and a 2. That's not going to be enough. They're going. And then I also have the mortars, which are last standing, and I get a 4 and a 1, so that is enough to keep them along. But I am going to be re-rolling hits now with them, which is unfortunate. But I do have my howitzers, and I also get 1 dice for reserves, and I get a 4, which isn't enough, unfortunately. So here we go into Axis turn 3. Forgot to unpin this slot. They did unpin on a 5. They've gone into the building, and this guy has gone here into as much bulletproof cover as he can get from everyone. These guys have shuffled over, and that concluded my movement. I dug in the HQ, got a 3. Luckily he is elite, so he can offer his encouragement to everyone around him. So going into turn 3 now, I've got some shooting. Hopefully I'll be able to pick off a few more tanks here and there. Okay, so the mortars failed to range in again, but the howitzers ranged in first time and killed a rifle team and the little mortar, and have pinned the HQ and this lot. So hopefully these guys won't dig in next turn. Elsewhere, that was it. Nothing else happened. Tried firing the 88s at the Grants again, but I didn't get any hits this time, and spent about half hour contemplating whether I wanted to fire my scouts at the UCs, but I've left them there. It's just a bit too difficult to hit anything at night. So going into British turn 3, there is no bailed out tanks, but we do have a pinned down rifle platoon.
Yeah. They are pinned.
And we also have the HQ team as well.
And they are pinned.
Okay, and then we have 3. Oh, first, so we should have done it at the start of your turn. Roll to see if dawn has broken.
Yeah. 3.
Nope. So not yet. So going on now, you get 3 dice for reserves.
No rolls, so just the pity platoon.
Okay, the pity platoon, which no doubt will be Grants again, and there's too much medium heavy tanks here for me to deal with. So hopefully dawn will pop up and I can start popping a few of these, make the job easier for my panzers, and hopefully these pesky guys won't dig in either. So we're going into British turn 3. Okay, movement wise, one of the platoons did dig in, the HQ didn't, and this platoon didn't, but the rest of the Grants are rushing up onto this objective. So my Panzer IIIs, when they do turn up, are going to have a job to do. These guys also did a blitz move and moved up to gain shots on the howitzers and flak 88s, although they are a bit close to this building, but the Vickers should deal with them. Should. And that is it for movement, and we're going to shoot down. Okay, so I didn't know what happened with Lucas's shooting this turn. The 25-pounders had a bit of a mare. They did not hit anything under their repeat bombardment, considering there was about 6 things to hit on 4s. No hits, so hopefully this is a turning point for me. What did happen though is this platoon got pinned again, but took no casualties. So starting in my turn, I rolled 2 dice to see if dawn has appeared. No, so it may be next turn. Now I have a pinned down platoon. That stays pinned. And then on to my last stand tests. So for the mortars, a 3 and a 1. It'll probably not be enough for that lot. They are confident. No, they are not happy. The mortars are gone. That's unfortunate. And then that is it, because everything else last standing has gone anyway. So that is me done for my motivations, and then I have 2 dice for reserves, and they don't come in either. So we're going into Axis turn 4. So I would have liked to have another artillery unit. These guys got pinned, no kills unfortunately. I did get a kill and a bale with my flak 88s though, which is nice. So going into Lucas's turn 4, he has 3 dice to roll to see whether dawn has appeared, and most likely it will be this turn.
There are 3 and 2 5s.
So the sun has emerged, we can see each other, and we can finally start hitting each other a bit better. So his Crusaders in reserve will just come in anyway, but we'll do the motivations first. So you do have a 3+ remount on your Grant.
Yeah, all 3.
So he's back in, and you have a rally test to make on your infantry.
Yeah, they pass.
Cool. So the Crusaders come in, but we do roll to see if the aircraft turn up.
Yeah, no aircraft.
No aircraft.
Too early.
Right then, so my reserves will come in next turn, with a lot of Grants to deal with, which is lovely, and everything now can move a little bit faster as well. So here we're going into British turn 4. Okay, so the Crusaders dashed, and if you've not used Crusaders before, they are very fast, and that is how good they are summed up there, and that's what they can do. They're fast, and that's it. The other Grants have basically moved to a line here, because potentially my reserves might arrive in this point here. Would be nice to get them behind, but then there's 25-pounders there, so I'm kind of stuck in this little hellhole by here. But They are up armoured, so they might survive some shots. And now everything else is moving over. These grants are moving, and the UCs, and now the grants. Now they can actually see the 88s. Do fancy their chances a bit more. So here we go now into shooting again. Shooting again, artillery failing to do much damage, pinning the flak 88s and the howitzers again. So going into my startup step, the flak 88s, a 6 and a 5, they rally. The howitzers, a 3 and a 2, please be a 3 be enough. They are fearless on a 3, so luckily they do get back in. And then I have my Panzer 3s will come in because I'll be rolling 3 dice, but do the stukas turn up? Ah, 4, so it would be nice to get them as well. So it is daylight now. Oh, I do have that pinned unit up ahead, a 3, no pinning for the unpinning for them. So we're going into the movement phase for Axis turn 5. Okay, a 4 is actually enough to bring in aircraft. I thought it was 5 for reserves. So they've popped up by here, plenty of targets, and my Panzer 3s have turned up also by here. Lovely place for them to turn up. And everything else is moving. My Italian tanks have moved as well, and my Italian infantry have moved. I do think I might have to try and go for these grants in an assault. That's pretty much all they can do, so wish me luck as we go into German shooting, turn 5. So this is how my shooting panned out. My Italian tanks first tried to shoot at the Vic. As I say first, I'm doing the less interesting stuff first. Didn't get any hits. I did get 1 hit with a flak 88 and firepower combined killed it. My first then howitzers ranged in. I killed 1 infantry team and pinned the platoon, and I killed a crusader. The stukas then killed a grant. Unfortunately, I didn't hit any of the crusaders, which would have been nice. I then decided to fire all 4 of my Panzer 3s into this platoon here, and I've killed 1 and bailed 1. They're outside of reroll range, so hopefully this might go my way. And that concludes the shooting, and now I have an assault, and since Lucas only has 3 dice this time, I feel I have a bit better chance against this grant now, so let's have an assault. Okay, the Italians came, they saw, and they conquered that grant. I did use my Italian sticky bombs. I feel like I wasted it, but I doubt these Italians are going to go anywhere near any more tanks, so at least that's done anyway. So going into turn 5 for the British. Now here comes the fun stuff. You have a remount on a 3+ with this grant.
Yep. That's a 5, it's back in.
Damn it. Okay, and then you have a rally test with the platoon on the objective.
They do rally.
Okay. Oh, these guys are going to feel the pain. And then you have a dice for aircraft.
No aircraft.
No aircraft. Okay, so we're going into British movement, and there's at least 1, 2, 3, 4 halted 89 shots onto my poor Panzer 3s, with a few more on the way. So this is going to be interesting. So, British turn 5. Okay, British movement. These Crusaders did a blitz, which is step 1 complete, and they needed a 5. Then this guy got snagged in the barbed wire, but this guy's managed to get behind for a side shot on a Panzer 3. These grants then got blocked by this Crusader, so they moved around, but most importantly they moved into command range for the HQ, which was better. These grants are also moving around, and these infantry have finally dug in. And the UCs are moving to deal with my infantry, which is a problem. So this is where we end a turn, and now we're going into shooting. And these 4 need to be operational, otherwise I'm in trouble, because the game will end, and Lucas will win. and I can't allow that to happen. But Lucas does deserve a win on this channel because he has been going hard at it for quite a few games now. So I wish him all the best anyway. So this is how we go. So basically I lost 2 infantry teams over here with a mixture of the UCs, and it was a bombardment from the Vickers, but they didn't hit anything, and my 88s have been pinned again. So the main thing is though, 2 Panzer IIIs are dead and 2 are bailed out with a mixture of a lot of fire and me rolling terrible saves. So first of all, this isn't game yet. Or is it? So
it's my turn 6 is when game was decided.
Yeah, so I have another turn. So first of all, to remount my Panzer IIIs, and I get 1 in at least, so I do need a last stand them. No. I have my pinned down infantry platoon that finally decide to rally, and my pinned down flak 88s. I get a 4 and a 1, so they are unpinned, and then my dice for aircraft, I get a 5. Yes! So, going into German or Italian turn 6. And last stand on the Panzer. A 2! No! So, it is going to be game, but I still have a few more kills to do. So he drives away, and he will. Let's make him work for it a little bit. So, yes, let's do some more killing. German Axis turn 6. Movement, I'm all in. The infantry are moving up, tanks are moving up. These guys blitz because they're veterans and they're within 8 of the objective. So there's some chance going on here. The stukas are in, the flak 88s are in range of the grants, the infantry have dug in here, so that's all my good rolls used up. So let's see what is going to happen here. So German shooting turn 6. So at the moment, the way it stands, there's only 1 HQ grant left and he is bailed. One of these is also bailed. I fired my MGs from the tanks and infantry into this building, and there is only 1 Vickers heavy machine gun left who should die in this assault. And that is it. I've thrown everything at them. These scout cars need to somehow survive, which they probably won't. Well, best thing that can happen is no one remounts, everyone runs away, so there's only these 3 grants to try and get rid of them, and that will be it. So, going to this assault, watch us backfire now and we get bounced back. So, Lucas will roll his 2 defensive dice and I'll run screaming in. As expected, these guys got annihilated and I didn't lose anyone, double 1s for the shooting. So, starting up, we have the remounting HQ with his 2 die.
Yeah. Double 2, he's still out.
Then you have your remount on your other grant.
He's back in.
And then you have your pinned down rifle platoon.
They unpin.
And now we're into last stand town. So the Crusaders, because they're out of command range.
Yeah. They've had enough.
They drive away. So not enough. And also your aircraft.
Oh yeah. Yes, aircraft this turn.
Okay, good, but luckily they cannot touch my scout cars because they're too close to his infantry. So here we go now into British turn 6. If these scout cars are gone, it is game. So good luck to your excellent rolling so far, Lucas. And here we go, turn 6. So the Kitty Hawks are going for the same place the 25 pounders will be going for all game, and everything is gunning for these poor guys. So the infantry are already in assault range, so they're on Operation Mop Up if these grants and these grants cannot do the job. So here we go then, into the shooting, and let's see how this pans out. Okay, so the Kitty Hawks in one turn did what the 25 pounders couldn't do in 6 turns. They took out 2 100mm howitzers and an 88 in one turn, and also I lost 2 scout cars and the other one is bailed out, so that is game because I have no active teams within 8. Well, one game for Lucas, albeit a minor victory, so a bloody victory at that. So since you are the victor, Lucas, who was your MVP?
I think it's the grant platoon that just remounted and finished off the armoured cars, because they killed the Panzer and bailed one, and they then killed the armoured cars.
Yes.
And on the way managed to get some shots off on other stuff.
Yes, definitely. My MVP, probably the 88s, because with them they knocked out about 4 grants, I think, between them, and they were pretty much a nuisance throughout the game for Lucas. Drew a lot of fire and only suffered a casualty in the last turn. Scout cars, honourable mention for actually keeping me in the game. Dishonourable mention, the Panzer 3s, although obviously against the odds, did hope I would have not had them all die within one turn. And also the stukas did well when they came on twice, which was nice. So yeah, that's the game. And that is it for the Gazala campaign. We both enjoyed it, really good game. Looking forward to playing it myself when I get my hands on it, when I print it off from Battlefront. And I'm looking forward to playing the Firestorm Khan when we can all meet up, and also when the SS book comes up. So if you like these Firestorm campaigns, you're in for a treat. And because there's so many games each round, I'm looking for a couple of games I might throw out to the viewers that you just play it and send me a result. I'm doing the same with Tom and Lucas, so it'll be very much a community effort for my channel. So thanks for watching, please subscribe, and ciao for now. And any rules we've got wrong or clarifying, just please let us know, and please be easy on me. I haven't played Axis for quite some time, and kind of this list I was going for a very mobile panzer list, but would have attacked in the day, so it's just a lot of grants I have to deal with, but I feel I didn't do too bad in the end. Just wish the panzers had gone on a little bit earlier, so there we go. But no, enjoyable game, always a fun playing Lucas, and well done Lucas for getting your first notch on the win belt for Valley Gaming.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, right, I'll wrap this up now and submit the score to the big bosses for Firestorm Gazala.